All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back here this Wednesday, September 23rd. I'm losing track of my days with this SPI run. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everybody can hear me loud and clear. I believe everybody can because I haven't been off the microphone since 8 o'clock. All right, great to see everybody. Bonnie, Dale, Mike, Pat, Donnie, Mark, Matt. Great to see you all loud and clear from all. So I got 3 points to make. That's pretty much it. Number one, well, like I said before, I haven't been off the mic since 8 o'clock. So with that in mind, try and make this a little quick. Number two, well, we got class on the horizon, guys. So, even aside from that, we have to zip right through this list because we have class continuing today, phase 2, lesson number 2. So from this morning's class, guys, phase 2, lesson 1, part of our monthly curriculum, we ended up beginning to more or less discuss discipline and trader psychology. Well, no better stock to kind of talk about that than this SPI, which leads me to my third point. What the hell happened to SPI today? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. So I don't have enough time to go over this whole run, guys, but I'm going to copy and paste the news for us here across social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, and of course for all of us inside the trading room. So SPI news came out super early this morning here, folks, well before 9:30 because we put this on our morning watch list. Right at 8 o'clock Eastern time, news came out. SPI Energy launches new electric vehicle company subsidiary. All right, well, you're kind of talking about, and I guess now at this point, not really joking, but at the time we were joking, saying, hey, anytime the word EV or the abbreviation or the phrase electric vehicle, I feel like anytime that's in a headline lately, it ends up making a big move. It's like the new hot word of the month, much like vaccine with all the COVID stuff going on. Anytime you saw a headline with the word vaccine in it, poof, stock ended up taking off. Well, none of us, not a single person inside our trading room, I don't think a single person on planet Earth would have predicted this move here today. So SPI ended up opening up, guys, at the market open. I think like its opening hole or the big opening print, so to say, on this trade. It was right around what, like 360? 370-ish, if I'm not mistaken. From there, of course, it popped, dropped, and for a stock that's up 50, 100% right at 9:30, I'm not trading it. We're waiting. We got to see a pullback more often than not. For a stock like SPI that's up this much, it usually pulls back at first. And if it pops right out of the gate, well, guess what? It's going to pull back. So, we didn't really start to follow this stock or trade this stock as much until it ended up breaking higher. Once it broke above resistance off of 4, more or less the second shot here, I ended up jumping in right over 4 as my sole trade on this SPI stock today. I haven't been off the mic and I haven't really been able to trade this stock in mind going into the afternoon rather. So it took off after I got out, ended up squeezing up towards 5, broke above 5, ran up towards 8. Got halted, and I'll tell you, at this point, you would figure that for a stock to go from 330, the low, all the way up to 8, that's good enough. So to see this open up and shake down and pop and back down, you would figure you're going to see a lot of volume drop off, the volume being traded. This will flatten out as it did. Oh my goodness, but this just kept going. So really quick, guys, on a trade like this where there's like really, no resistance to work with as far as the order book. Yes, there were orders to work with, but it wasn't as if we were able to predict that this would top off right at 46.67 and then tank. I mean, we were saying to watch out at 15. We were saying to watch out at 20. I mean, essentially these $5 levels. But this is what we train for, right? Much like Fausto said earlier today. So I was calling out a historical level on the daily chart. And for the most part, it ended up holding around there pretty well. Made a pop and drop. You got to go all the way back, guys, back to like 2016 or 15 even here. I'm using my left hand on my cursor here, so it's not going to be perfect. But I ended up noting, I called it 46 or 45 or so. Just a whole number here, let's say like a 45. It might even be higher. So I guess that kind of played out pretty well. You could even go so far as to say like 47.50-ish here. That actually seems like the perfect support. I was saying 46, 45 perhaps. Nonetheless, for as much as this moved up, well, you got to figure it's going to pull back at some point. But, for a stock that made this exponential of a run up, it's easy to leave money on the table. I don't care about leaving money on the table if I'm able to walk away with a big profit to start. Nonetheless, this got halted a few more times on the way up, spiked up one more time, hit that high, 46.67, pretty much right around here, we'll call it, give or take. From there, snap back down to 33. So, guys, this stock's been halted since 2:06 Eastern time. It's not a volatility halt. I thought it was, but, well, much more time went by. So this is a news halt. Something is going to be coming out in relation to news. My shoot from the hip guess is that we're going to see a common stock offering, and we're probably going to see this tank. If that is the correct news, that is. If that's the news, it's going to tank. But I'm led to believe that's going to be the news, so I hope nobody's still in. So I'm going to put this on our list just kind of for fun to see how it reopens. I'm not really as interested in trading the stock at this point. But I'll tell you, there are a few other stocks like this that are making just as big or just as clean of a move up. So right before we saw that get halted, we were calling out Pola. Oh, not Pola yet. Sun W. A couple of other stocks here. So first, this one here, Sun W, ended up making the pop up towards what appears to be like 150, 167 the high. Back down. And it just kept going. So, this came across our table going into the afternoon as it got halted. Whoa, how about this? Uh-oh, I don't want this to freeze my screen, guys. All of us are saying right now, right this instant, SPI just opened. You guys want to take a look? Oh, there it is. Oh, my goodness. I don't see any news, though. I don't see any news from Benzinga Pro just yet. Nothing came up just yet. No headline. But that is not a volatility halt, guys. My belief is that was a news halt, or maybe that could have been halted by like the exchanges, perhaps. No news out yet. My belief still is that we're going to see a common stock offering headline out there. But yeah, big gap down. Good call, guys, from Pat, Daniel, Bonnie too. Yeah. All right, so back to our regularly scheduled programming. If I can turn to it, it's freezing up my screen here. So Sun W, well, now this is halted on the way down, right? So this might be going with that SPI trade, perhaps. I didn't see any news in relation to like EV with this Sun W stock. This was just a circuit breaker halt, a volatility halt, that is, and ended up pushing all the way up, as you can see, up towards 457. Unfortunately, again, for as much as this ran up, it ended up dumping back down, got halted on the way down. I hope there's a lot more room left on this run, but, it's up 310%. So, we don't want to get spoiled here, guys. We see a stock up, or we saw a stock up 3,300% today, as in 3,300%. So, we catch those probably maybe like 3-4 times a year, perhaps. We see stocks all the time like this that are up 100, 200, 300%. It still technically is possible to see this squeeze up higher, but it has to come, with a pullback first. So for right now, it's halted on the way down. Probably will reopen up a bit lower. We'll see if it will make a pullback, perhaps down to maybe like a 2 or like a 210-ish maybe, and then from there squeeze back up. So SPI, Sun W, and then from here Pola, POLA, which I was getting to. Pola, this one's moving right now. It's not halted. Ended up making a very similar move. So Polar Power, I guess, energy stocks, maybe sun, solar stocks, perhaps. Again, no news out on this. So it might just be like the sector. A lot of these, small cap, low volume, perhaps low float. I don't know the float on this, but, all of these tend to have made the same move here. So Pola, Sun W, SPI, all on our list. The latter two, or perhaps the first two there, Sun W and Pola, I'm much more interested in trading, at least. All right, so back to my first point. I've been on the mic all day. I got to finish this meeting up for my own sake, but for all of us here, we have class coming up. So let's hop right through this gainers and losers list, guys. Peck. My voice is a little hoarse right now, actually. Pop and drop right now. I mean, maybe can make the same move, but right now, less volume being traded. We'll pass. OPTT. I saw this get called out, actually, inside the trading room. I didn't look at it. This is my first look at OPTT. It's a stock that we are pretty familiar with. So I don't mind putting this on our list with the others for the meantime, just because we are pretty, familiar with it. It is dropping back down with the rest. Hopefully this can make a bounce, if it hasn't already, from like 105. Jinko Solar, JKS. This is not moving with the others for perhaps that reason, but we saw. I think this was earnings based, right? Could have sworn that this was earnings based. And they came out with earnings. We ended up seeing a good pop, nice run up. Let's see. I'm going to copy and paste the little snippet that I have here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they beat on both the EPS and the sales. So obviously a nice result, nice headline, and a really big move from there. So Jinko Solar right near the highs of the day going into the afternoon, much like it was back on Monday. So right away, we'll put this on our list too. Geez, I kind of want to reschedule class. Should we just do that? I mean, I want to trade. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to reschedule class, guys. I'm just totally playing around with that. What else do we have, though? Let's see. DPW, another one here pushing up nicely. I don't know, again, if this is solar or related to the other runs. It would appear as if it is. I didn't think this was energy or solar related. I remember a long while back, this DPW is in like blockchain business. They were affiliated with like all the blockchain stocks and technology that drives Bitcoin. They denounced that partnership, I think, like early this year. So nonetheless, moving up nicely here. Another stock we are pretty familiar with. Guys, we're not going to trade every single one of these, but to start our list off with all of these, it's incredible. So, first one to the punch, right? What stock makes what move first? That's what we have to focus on. And then from there, just, set your stops, make sure that, if it's not breaking higher, then we got to get out because they'll dump back down here. Another one that I wanted to just jump to quick here, Craig, China Recycling Energy Corp. Another one pushing up a bit here. This one's been much more of a pump and dump. I mean, they all to a degree have, but this one much sharper pump and dump. I'm not as or I should say rather, I'm much more reluctant on putting this on the list compared to the others. You know what? We have such a good list. We'll skip. It's like pick your poison, pick your pleasure here. I mean, PPSI, if this dumps back down, it is shortable if it craps out the other way. Tight spread definitely has some liquidity on the book. Yeah. All right, guys. Geez, I mean, we are only a quarter of the gainers list through, and we have about 7 stocks on our list. Gold mining ETF, bearish ETF, dust with the markets falling off. I haven't even spoken about the Dow today. How about that? I mean, with as much as we went into this afternoon meeting with, I didn't even have a chance to talk about the Dow. It's been a free fall going into this afternoon. So with that, it seems like a lot of the gold mining stocks and ETFs are dropping off. JNUG, or NUGT Nugget, right? So on the inverse side, dust pushing up. With that, though, definitely a good day to follow the market, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we had NEO to our list or like an airline cruise line here at the end. UAA, nice push from earlier, dumping off now. I mean, and at the same time, SQQQ, we could easily just put like the VIX symbols on our list, whether it be SQQQ, which is not VIX. I know that's, ProShares QQQ. I'm just referring to the inverse symbols. VXX, SQQQ, just, all of those that move against how the markets move. As the markets are dropping, these symbols, these ETFs are moving up. All right, so I'll tell you, because of that, I'm not really expecting too much else on the gainer side here. How about Twitter? Twitter had a nice little run today. Not really little, pretty big run. Popped from like 43 all the way up towards just about 47 almost. What was the news out on Twitter? I didn't even have a chance to see myself. From 1:09 in the morning, I saw a headline here from Benzinga Pro. Facebook removes Chinese prop network trying to influence U.S. presidential election. Oh, that's a nice headline. I see from 6:30 in the morning, Twitter shares trading higher. Looks like a firm upgraded the company from hold to buy and increased its price target from 36 to 59.75. That definitely explains a lot more. So, with that and perhaps maybe something else out there, we ended up seeing a big pop and run up on Twitter after the open. Going into the afternoon, I wouldn't mind just putting this on our list, dropping off perhaps with the market at this point. It was very strong throughout the early parts of the day, but now beginning to slip back down. So, it could be a good short. 45 would be a major, major support on that trade. A lot of volume got filled off the pot from there earlier. All right, then last one here, familiar name, XSPA, going nowhere. All right, let's hop over to the losers list here, guys, see if there's anything else looking just as good. And we got the man himself commenting inside our trading room. We got FP, Fausto, saying NKLA tanking. Well, obviously, great call. Nikola down 20%, so we would have gotten to this on the losers list, but better to be called out now than later on, so you guys can catch it. So fantastic call, and rightfully so. We're going to put this on our list. All right, hard to borrow. I don't know if we can get the shares to short this from TradeStation. See if you can. Otherwise, though, I mean, obviously, this company's been littered with bad news. The CEO left amid all of those allegations. Pretty interesting, guys. I've been talking forever so far, but pretty interesting. I think it was from like Twitter, sourceful or a reliable website I go to. They went over how the CEO of Nikola, the now former listing or the former CEO of Nikola, I think he lost about $4 billion in net worth from last Friday. Crazy. Now, Leda is saying, in terms of the news out on Nikola, she's saying that there is now talk of delisting Nikola entirely. If that's the news, that would explain a real big reason as to why this is down so much and down with the market. So, yeah, definitely good call. All right, let's see what else we have here, guys. We got the ACIU down 44%. Yeah, going nowhere. It was interesting early. I wanted to just take a peek. I'm probably same. Yeah, here with WVE, it's near the lows. Wouldn't surprise me to see this make a dead cat bounce sometime this or next week, but I'm not gonna put my money in that basket this afternoon. RMTI flat. All right, bunch of crap here on the losers list so far, guys. Aside from Nikola and aside from this RVP, beautiful downtrend. A little bit of a spread here and there. The order book seems to still be somewhat filled in. It looks like it just broke below, actually, an order on the bid. An iceberg, perhaps, is $6.20. You could see that on the time and sales there. So pretty interesting. Shortable RVP. All right, Stitch Fix off earnings. Big drop from earlier today. This was one that we more so had called out compared to we ended up seeing Nike break all-time highs off earnings. Obviously, we hit the Jinko Solar trade off earnings. This was the other one today. So, down big, the SFIX trade Stitch Fix. It popped at the open, pulled back. It could be tradable. Maybe keep it on your side list, but for right now, we got a decent list already. We don't need to force that on there. But now June is pointing out in the chat board, one of our traders, June, had said two stocks dropping off big right now. WKHS, which now you could see it is. And with that in mind, we're going to put this on our list. Free fall down to, right now, I would assume 22. Next major whole number support. Looks like this had some big resistance around the 20 level, maybe 1950-ish to 20. So really good call from June. And then alongside that, I think he wrote plug, PLUG, down big too. Not a whole lot percent-wise, but we don't really need to see that in order to trade a stock like this. Beautiful drop-off. For as much as this had moved up over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it had closed at the highs yesterday or 2 days ago. So perhaps this is just the beginning of a free fall here even. So plug, good call. Now, what I want to do though, guys, at least from this point, is see if there's anything just on the side list, because if the markets are falling off, then there's going to be so many other stocks out there that we can, potentially add to our list, maybe put on our list. Dean inside our trading room is saying FSOY free falling. Great call. Pretty expensive. So, that's where we have to pick and choose our battles, perhaps. Obviously AMD. I love AMD. This one's a little expensive, but the spreads are a bit tighter. So I'd feel more comfortable following an AMD compared to an FSLY, but I'm not even as interested in AMD just given the price. Why trade AMD when you could trade UAL, United Airlines, which is much cheaper? Why trade United Airlines when you could trade American Airlines much cheaper, right? So, in that sense, there is so much moving with the market, guys, heading into this afternoon. I can't put everyone on. So that's where I'll simply say, I think that we're pretty much good with this list. If there's a stock that's moving with the market that is, moving pretty well, you do pretty well on that trade consistently. Well, from that point, I would like to think that would be a good stock for you to watch going into the afternoon. All right, guys, really quick, let me know if there's anything else that you would want me to look at or anything else just otherwise before we finish up. June is saying Blink down by $1.39 per share. Just the shares are not available to short. Ah, damn. All right, so yeah, we'll look at Blink quickly. That would be one I'd be more interested in looking at for as much as it dropped. When's it going to bounce? I'm not going to try and bet on that today, at least. But that will probably be, questions that come to mind tomorrow, maybe Friday. All right, guys, before we finish up, I just want to welcome actually two of our newest students to CTU Cyber Trading University. First, we have Tony A, and alongside Tony, we have Ronald C joining Cyber Trading University today. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. And with that, keep in mind, guys, we have the Phase 2 stock course continuing today with lesson number 2. In this class, guys, it's kind of a two-part class. So where we leave off this afternoon, we're going to pick right back up Friday morning. I'll be in 2 days from now. But we'll be talking about how to prepare to trade the market open. We actually did a very similar class like this last month, but in relation to trading the market close. So how do we prepare to trade this SPI? How do we prepare to trade a Jinko Solar? So we'll be talking all about that, guys, coming up in just about the next 10 or so minutes. I look forward to it. I need to refill up on my water before I jump to that, though. So let me do that right now, guys. I'm going to post and tweet the pics and get ready for class myself. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. For anybody tuning in on social media, as always, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, notify yourself right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, as we always say, feel more than free to join us right here in the Cyber Group Trading Room, especially, I say it all the time, but especially on a day like today, guys. All right. So I look forward to it. I'll be talking to you guys in class pretty shortly. Take care.